Now this song, my mother listened to that a lot, so, it was always in my head. And when I do these demos for the people, and I put 100 of them out there, sometimes, 40 to 100, whatever it is, for the job we're doing. That song comes in my head every time, man, you know what I'm saying? Because, when the people see it, it's not, I transform what their beliefs are on landscape lighting. Because, they're thinking a couple lights, a couple on the tree, I always tell them that if you want a couple landscape lights on a tree, I know a great landscape lighter I can refer you to. I create special spaces in your yard, in your home, And basically, I don't go into any of that until I've hit the lights and they see what's going on. I'm very cordial with them. I do a little chit chat. I get to know them, but I go right to getting that demo set up. And I try to have them come there right at dark, so that they don't have to wait around for me setting it up. Most of the time, it's a new construction or might be a remodel or something. But they might not be there. So I have them meet me there right when it's getting dark. My lights are already set up and ready, and when they see that, 9 times out of 10, you get a ooh. The other night I had one lady say, "I can't believe it's mine." Like, "Check, please." I was ready. So it's just, I'll tell you, and I'm one of the guys that hated his job. I did tile and marble for about 15 years, not 30. All right. But, I had 30 guys working for me right when the bubble had popped, and I was just so burnt out on tile and marble, and it prepared me for this. When I met Rayto and he had these lights that we could core drill into the tile and marble, everyone else that had been doing landscape lighting forever was like, "Oh, hell no, I'm not touching that. I'm putting mine over in the dirt." Well, I love to core drill that stuff. It's easy to me because tile and marble was a very difficult thing for me to do. It's a very hard trade, and it's just, my hands are still torn up from it, so I love the challenge of it. I love to get out there and make unique spaces. And I'll tell you, more times than none, I have my customers, send me messages, 6 months later, telling me, "Cory, the space is just amazing. I love it, and they become my best salespeople, man. They're brand fanatics of LED Artistry because I take care of them. I go over. A lot of people will charge maintenance fees, and I don't charge a maintenance fee. I just go back and I take care of the lights. Why? Because I hardly ever have them fail, for one. When I go back through a yard, every 90 days, I go through their yard, okay? And I go through, it takes about 15 minutes. Go through, wipe the lights down, clean them, adjust them. I leave a bill on the door, $125. Then down at the bottom, it's 90-day service free. Nobody does that. I do that. Nobody else does. And I understand that, I talk to people, "I'm making $35,000 a year on this maintenance program here." I just went out and sold an extra $15,000, 2 days ago to a contractor that, or customer that would have paid me $125 to service it. And after, numerous times or whatever, you go back there, people get tired of that, So I'm just trying to do mine a little different, and I think that by doing so, I'm going to be the largest in this area. I definitely will, along with this man here, because we work together. I'm not going to step on anybody's toes because we're all here to grow together. And I've taken a lot today, and I try to take a little bit from everyone I come across because I don't know anything. I take that approach that, when I come on to someone's house, yeah, I do know something then. I try to be, I don't sell. I'm not selling anything. I'm more of a guide to these people, and try to fix a couple minor problems for them. And I'll tell you, if you fix one thing, it might just be a little dark spot over in the corner that they have. When you fix that one thing for those people, the customer, the client, they start looking at you as the authority, and you can feel them change a little bit just as you're talking with them. And you can start seeing, and they start suggesting, "How about over here?" I always use that opportunity. How about right there? No, I wouldn't put one there. And that right there, a lot of times it's in a bad spot anyways. But it definitely gives me puts me out there that I'm trying to help them, basically. And I really am. I'm just trying to give them the best experience that they can have at night. They're going to come, and I tell them, once I get those lights on, I got 100 of them set up, and they're wowed, I let them know that I believe that these lights will extend your life. okay, has the possibility to extend your life. And people are like, what, yeah, this guy, okay. But you know what, when you come home every single night and you're stressed from work and you sit down in this space that we've created, I never say I've created, I always tell them we're creating this space, and when you sit down, you can feel the stress melting away, and you can feel that, man, this is a nice space, and happier, healthier life. You're going to live longer if you're happy, right? So you come home every night to your beautiful home. Now they've seen it, because before, they had no idea what I did with all of my lights that I place everywhere. Landscape lighting has come a long way. I don't even consider it landscape lighting. We're creating very unique spaces for people, and we're loving doing it, And all my ratings are 5 stars. If I do have a problem, I go right back to that customer quickly and I take care of it, I make sure that their lights are working. And I'll tell you, they're my best salespeople. I don't need any salespeople because I can't keep up with the referrals from my current customers. And every time I go back there, I'm always adding more lights. I'm telling you, it's just amazing the amount, because if someone only wants 40 lights, I don't push. Oh, great, 40 lights it is. We'll put 40 in for you. But I'm coming back. I just sold one. It was $26,000, and I went back there 3 months later, servicing it for free, and sold another $15,000. And I'll tell you, I probably have about another 15 to go with this property. There's a lot of large houses out there, and that's primarily where I shoot for. I try to go with the, resorts, the homes, the businesses, and I'm always trying to create a new spot to put a light. I'm challenging myself to try to figure out, where I can place these things. Oh, I can get an extra one here, and not just to sell the light, but to get the look, because without that light, you wouldn't have the same look, So that's what it's about to me, is the look that I'm trying to achieve, and it takes a lot of lights to achieve this look, So if you're not core drilling, it's one of the easiest things that you'll learn to do, It's very, very simple. So we aim to teach you, if you get anybody that wants to learn how to do it. But for instance, I just sold a job. I think it was like 30 spotlights, right? Just dirt lights, But I had 51 core drills in that property. 51 core drills. So, there's a lot of money that you're leaving out there by not doing the core drills. It's amazing. I always do in front of the garage doors because, otherwise it's a dark spot. Some landscape lighters like to put a light over here and spot it. It doesn't work, It doesn't look good. It looks like there's a prison break going on, So, I just enjoy what I'm doing. Let me see if I can find anything here, since that was all just off of the brain there. Yeah, it was. But, consultation, that's what I try to, I'm just there consultating them on what is going to look the best in their property. And once they assume me as the authority on that, as Yoda, everything goes really smooth. I don't ever have to push. I don't ever ask for the sale. I know Rato says always close, but I don't ask for the sale because they're asking me for it by the time I'm done, And they've got this image now in their head about how beautiful this house is, and they're never going to get it out. Anybody else that comes up there, unless it's this man here or a couple other people that are doing the core drills, it's going to look different, And I'll tell you, with my warranty too, it just blows everybody out, They're like, what? You're crazy, and maybe I am, But I'll tell you, I love taking care of my customers. I love building those relationships, and that's really what it is, is building the relationships with them. And they truly are, our friends when we're done. They're, like you said, there are a couple that may be a little standoffish from time to time, but I'll tell you, when those lights go off, they're calling quick. Boy, they want those things fixed, right? Because they say, wait, this isn't right, So I will say that I always try to maybe throw in just a little bit of concern. What's going, because the customer, they want us to fix something for them, So I try to throw in something small. It might be safety, security. If once they see the lights like this, I always point the house is dark, because every other house on the street is dark right now, right? Every house on the street is dark, and then you got this, just beautiful, palace. So it doesn't, all those neighbors are getting it done. And it just, I'm not advertising. I do my social media, and that's it. And I get a lot off of that. I get a lot off of Facebook. I get a lot off of Yelp. It's just so easy. I'm sorry, it's easy. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. And if I can do it, and I'm very unorganized, I'm going to tell you that right now. Look, I have a program that reminds me, I got to go back to this job. I got to go over here, because otherwise, well, I tell you, I got my first Yelp job, all right? I put it in my phone, and, I'm like, oh, I got this. Schedule an event, Siri, for 2 days later, 5 p.m. So 5 p.m. comes 2 days later, 5:20 comes, and I'm not reminded by Siri. She's totally, she's not doing her job. And I get a call from the customer, first Yelp customer, Cory, where are you at? I'm like, I'm on my way. I was like, well, I'm running a little late, so it's probably going to be 6:30 before I get there. The guy's, okay, no problem, no problem. So now, I was headed home. I didn't realize I had anything that day because I wasn't reminded by my secretary. So I start heading there, and I got my GPS set. I'm on time. I'm going to make it. I got my guys. I got my demo kit. I'm in rush hour traffic out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around in this spot of town, except for traffic back to back, I run out of gas. I'm 15 minutes away from the job, okay? So, all right, you're out of gas now. All right, I'm done, right? What are you going to do? You can't, there's nothing anywhere. There's a tow truck right behind me. I flag down, hey, you got gas? No, I ain't got no gas. So, about to call it quits, and I called Uber. Uber is really good, I'll tell you. A guy was out there in 15 minutes with a gas can. I show up on the job. Now I'm double late, the guy at this point just doesn't, I'm at 6:45. I'm not that double late. I'm 15 minutes late past my second time. And, he's just like, he's not having it. He's ready to just shut the door in my face. But, we came all the way out. He let me set it up. I get him out to the curb. Whoa! And I tell him a little bit about what we're doing, and I get him, involved. I walk out there with a check for $6,000, and it was a little ranch-style house. It was nothing. It was no house that you'd be looking up on whatever, the Zillow, and you'd be like, oh, I'm not going to this one, But the guy wanted the lights, once he saw them, and once he realized that it was going to extend his life, okay? I'm telling you, because just like you saying that subconscious, everybody, there was all this subconscious, this huge thing of subconscious, this little thing, because our mind is constantly looking for survival for us. So, but as small as it is, when you implant that in their head and they really, kind of get behind it, try it with some customers. I guarantee you they'll like it, And it's just part of the story. You want to give your customers a story, not the story of the lights. I rarely focus on the lights. And the reason being is because this customer doesn't know this light from Volt, So the Volt guy's out there telling, I got the best light over here. The same thing we're telling them. So the way I distinguish from that is I don't focus on the lights at all. I focus on how happy they're going to be, how nice their property's going to look, how much the neighbors are going to look at this and love it. And when the guy's out robbing the neighborhood, he's not coming to this house. I keep it real simple, and by the time that I'm done, they're usually asking me, can I write you a check? And that's pretty much how I do it. And I tell you, everyone I talk to is interested in it. I rarely get somebody that's not interested. Right to, I was going to a job, Harbor Island, gated community. I stop in, I get the guard signed up because he knows a lot of people in there. He's been working here for years. He knows all the guys in there that live there. And we've already done 5 houses in this neighborhood. So we have lots of clients that are, they're great. All he has to do is say, hey, I got a free demo for you. That's it. He's not selling anything. He's asking, you want a free demo of LED lights? Everybody wants LED lights right now. It's just, it's too simple. I'm telling you, it's too simple. So, once I get, and I'm working on it, because I'll tell you, my best year doing tile, when I quit doing tile, I made $750,000 that year. I had 30 guys working for me, and I was working 7 days a week. I was making good money, but I didn't have time to stop and spend it, I'd go on vacation a couple times a year, but that's it, right back to work. And when I got back, there was a mess I had to straighten out, It was always a problem. So I really love this business because I can train my guys very easily. Tile and marble, just years you train somebody, and they can still mess some stuff up. They do it all the time, When you mess up a tile job, it's not just straighten the light out. Jackhammer that stuff up, So, this is really, really simple stuff, But let me see here. You see, I went right by this, you know.
Doing great.
I'll tell you, I love putting my lights up on the roof lines, you know, and the mini Saturns. I don't know if you guys have used any mini Saturns lately, but, you know, Rayto doesn't necessarily love it when I do this. But I'll tell you, it's one of their best lights, I think. You know, for a small one-story house, anytime you have a one-story house, I take my mini Saturn and I put it right on the top of an LV 180 stake. And, you know, anytime you're coming across the garages, for instance, and you're using the mini wells, so you got to have something in the dirt, you just take this little mini Saturn, which runs about 50 bucks, really economical, and I still sell this for the 300. So, you know, it's black, so I don't get the 4 for the brass, you know what I'm saying, but for the black ones, you try to get the 3 for it, you know. So I'm still needing some little help with coming down on price because I got to admit, I'm bad at, you know, I've always been bad at that. I love doing CD&E for some reason. I don't know why, you know, but, you know, they all pay, and it's been a learning experience for me to get to this point where I'm at. And I'll tell you, I'm only taking the A and Bs now, you know, so I definitely try to learn and get better because I've made mistakes, you know. I've definitely, every day, though, I'm just trying to, you know, move forward with this business and, you know, learn as much as I can and try to give as much knowledge as I have because I believe that there's gonna be a critical mass. And it's going to be in the next 5 years probably where, you know, people are going to be doing this where we can't keep up with it. You know, right now I do a house, it's the only one on the block. You know, it's not going to be that way forever. So right now, you know, it's a time to jump into it and just, you know, make as much money as you can because it's there. It's right there, just ready to grab it, you know, and the people want to give it to you. You know, it's all in that subconscious though. I'll tell you, there's a great book I've been reading called Building a Story Brand. And if you guys, you know, if you like reading stuff, that's a great book. I love it. I tell you, it's like hit a light switch with me, and it's just made sales so easy because I'm not selling anymore. I'm the guide. I show them the best the best options for their home. And it doesn't get any easier than that, you know. It really doesn't. Right? It's audible. Yeah, you just listen, you know, if I had to read that thing, come on, I wouldn't read it. You know. But I could sure listen to it in the car, and you know I've listened to it so many times. Now I got on like speed 3, you know, just listen through it again, you know. And yeah, it's good though. Definitely recommend it. Building a Story Brand, and you know we can give you a free copy of if anybody's interested. You know, just give me your email address and I'll send it to you. But let me see here. I brought some tools because I know some people here wanted to see what we were using nowadays, and I got a water-fed drill. You know, just what you're using, using the water-fed, or are you using a dry bit? Dry. You know, I was using dry for so long, and I found this drill, and it spits the water out right down the core of it, so nothing gets stuck into the chamber of it. And it's so clean. You know, they just passed a new law to where you have to have either water or it has to be a vacuum, or OSHA will come by and get you for it. You know, so. You know, this is a German product. It's a really good multi-speed where it slows down a little bit. It also has a clutch on it to where the core won't get stuck. Which is helpful because these things break and they're $100 each. So, you know, if you're not careful with it, you'll be spinning, you know, and your guys, if you get a couple new guys, they can run through these things a couple holes. Or if you're careful, you can get 100 holes out of it. So. You know, I just wanted to, and I'll be going over all of that when, you know, we do the installation deal out there. But another light that I like to use is, and I've got these in Rayto's yard, but, you know, we just paint them black. I put the S2s in there, and we set them flush, concrete around them, and, you know, we put these at businesses. We put them in homes out in the middle of the yard for where the trees are, so we get the outer canopies of them. And it's just a little more economical for, you know, when you're using say the black V2 or something, you know, and usually it's an economical customer, you know, it's not the A or B echelon guys, you know, so, you know, I try to have something for everybody, you know, I try to, you know, I'll go do 4 lights, I don't care, you know, it's just another customer, and I'll tell you, when I do those 4 lights for that customer, I usually end up going back and doing another 40 for them, you know, I mean, it's something that's like a tattoo. Once you get it, you just want to keep getting more, you know, that's why I never got one. So, you know, but This is the S2 or S3, both goes in there, yeah. With the S3, it's a little fatter, so you have to cut a little bit of it and modify where that cord comes out, but you can use it, you know. So, but painted black, it's a real nice, you know, nice finish there. So, yeah. This, what I do is I put a little silicone around it so nothing gets inside of it, you know, and keep it real tight too, so it's not like, you know, hard to get out later on down the road. Generally what I'll do too is if we put like, if I'm not using a large well in the ground, we'll put S2s in the ground. What I do is I fill the S2 up with sand all the way up about a 1/4 inch before the top. And then you just have to grout just a tiny little bit on that, so if you ever need to get into it, it's just tink tink and it'll pop right out, you know. Also keeps it cool because the sand, you know, helps dissipate the heat, so, you know. I try to use as many lights as I can that's going to maximize my profits, you know. So we try to use, yep, it goes right in the LV180 stake, or you can also get a Schedule 40 pipe and do, you know, put that right in the ground. That definitely stabilizes it, screw it into it with the concrete around it. Someone really has to work, because I had somebody come and take all my lights from a project. So we had to get, you know, I had to guarantee to this customer in order to put them back that we would guarantee them not be stolen. So, you know, we work the heck out of those things, man. You know, someone's going to be like, they're going to have the wheelbarrow to get one light out of there, you know. I mean, we put a lot of concrete around it. Yes? That's just yeah, that's all that it is. Just a 3-inch to 1.5 inches, so your stake goes right into that, you know. So, yep, well, I get creative with it. And I've got one that we put up on the roofs, you know, the S2 on the roof. I don't know if you saw the red project we just did where it was all the roof lights. Had a little C-clamp that just clamps on the ribbed roof so you don't have to put any holes or screws or silicone, nothing on them. And then your light, because usually on those strip malls, right at the edge of the roof, there's a drip edge. So I have just a little wire that wraps around, comes around that drip edge, and everything tucks behind the drip edge there. You know, and it's an amazing look.
I just want to say something for those of you who've met him for the first time here. This is one of the guys that impressed me the most out of everyone that I've met in this conferences, because I did a lot of hardscape for many years, and when you see the lineup of tools that this guy presented to us when he was the first time he was out here, and you've done this kind of work, you'll appreciate the magic this guy, you know, the way that they grind through spaces, they get from one hard space to another. It's like magic with it. You don't see anything at the end of the job. So I want to really commend you, and I've seen your work. I've been fishing at night at midnight out on the intercoastals here, and I'm driving by these sites. The next day I talk to me, that's my job, that's my job, that's my job. So I just got to tell you, you've done exceptional work.
You know, I just sold 22 Metro PCSs, so, you know, that, I'll tell you, lavender, they've got a lavender color which works great for that. So anybody, you know, I know they're everywhere now. So, you know, that's definitely a good contract right there. So most of them are, you know, individually owned. Somebody owns 50 of them, 100 of them, you know, so you can get in with those guys, you know, so. But,
Cory sells a lot of color lights. Like I said, he's like he wants to sell. He's got his strategy. I think we sell about 300 lights a week minimum. My close there.
I have a goal of 400, so I'm trying to hit that.
When you're doing that, and you're getting, you know, $350 to $400 per light installed, and you make it look as easy as that. That's the whole thing, you know. You can complicate things, or you can make a lot of money in this business and not feel guilty about it. We want to show people the value, but we want to show you how to do the volume, because everybody wants lighting. When you give them that service and that unique experience, you're going to succeed. And their friends will want it, and neighbors will want it, and you always knock on doors of neighbors and talk to people.
Well, when I show up at the demo, I go to the door next door and I knock on that. And I act like, is Debbie here? That's the neighbor I'm supposed to be going to. Oh, I'm sorry, it's next door. Oh, you know, and I end up with getting them to come out. And I'll tell you, I've sold several jobs like that, you know. So, you know, just give you a good, you know, because they come out to see it then. Oh, it's Debbie. Yeah, well, you know. I'll tell you, when I first got into it, I, you know, didn't have any clients or anything, and we would go out and we would light up houses without asking. All right. Now, I mean, one of the houses we did was Greg Schiano for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was the coach at the time. All right. And we went out, it was Eric and I, we went out there and we were doing a house next door or something, and I think we were doing like Venetian plaster in it or something, because that was one of the things we used to do, was Venetian plaster. So we were like, let's just go next door. Nobody's there. It was all done. It was landscape. It was looking great, but nobody lived there, and there's no landscape lights. We'll get a picture of it, and then we'll send it to Greg. You know, so we go there. We get the whole thing set up. Boy, it's looking good, too. Here comes Greg Schiano and his wife pulling in the driveway. You know, yeah, there's that. He's like, he gets out of the car, and you see him looking like, what the hell's going on, you know? I'm like, I walk right over to him. Greg Schiano, how you doing? I'm here for your 7:30 light display. He's like, 7:30 light display? Who sent you? I was like, the office sent me. You know, so, you know, if needless to say, he found out the office didn't send me and he didn't go with me. But ever since then, the man was making terrible decisions, got fired right afterwards. I'll tell you, if he would have won the lights, he would have, Bucks probably would have won the Super Bowl. Who knows, you know? So, you know, and I was going to put a red light out there on his tree every time they won. A little red light come on for the Bucks, you know. So, but nope, he didn't go with it. And, you know, I'll tell you what, if you don't go with the lights, it's just not good. That's right. Bad things happen. I'll tell you, that's the subconscious. If you can incorporate anything that is bad, that's going to be bad, you know, just, I don't mean like you want to scare a customer, but you just want to have a little bit of that badness in there, you know what I'm saying? So the customer's like, and I'll tell you, read that story brand. I love that book. It's really good. I turned it on to Steve, and Steve loves it too. And basically, it just talks about that, you know, we've been sitting around campfires telling stories since 100,000 years, you know. So when somebody hears a good story, they can't help but listen to it. So you just make it the story of your customer too. It's not the story of our lights. We don't care about. They don't care about your lights. If you try to hold yourself up as the hero with these lights, well, guess what? They think they're the hero. So right there's a problem. So that's why you make them the hero of their own story, and these lights are going to solve a lot of problems for them. So it's been working really well for me, and I'll tell you, I don't have to ask for the sale. They are always like, can I give you a check? Well, yes, you can. You know, so, and I'll tell you, like I said, if I can do this, I know everyone in this room can do it, because, you know, I'm probably one of the worst businessmen ever, but I love doing this, and I just try really hard to make sure my customers are happy, and that everything else will take care of itself. I'm in the process, though. I've been reading the E-Myth, and I've been really diligent on building my business, and I'll tell you, I'm going to take it to the next level, you know, so that's where I'm headed. You know, I'm doing great right here, but I want to be in multiple places, you know, because there's a lot of opportunity, and there's a lot of opportunity for everybody. And I'd love for everybody to put up as many lights as you can, because more people are then going to see it and want me to do more, so, you know. But that's really, you know, all I got. So unless you have any questions or anything.
So, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Way to land the plane.
Thank you.